mycotoxins, and extreme weather conditions. Changes in the environment lead to food contamination, emergence of new microorganisms, toxins produced by them, and antimicrobial resistance of microorganisms. The four pillars of food security are essentially the availability of food, access to food, which does involve the costing, utilization, and stability. Food insecurity is very harmful to health, especially in children due to growth retardation and their poor academic performance. Climate change, water scarcity, and soil depletion would threaten food security globally. Fight against hunger has been included among Sustainable Development Goals by the United Nations. Food security is achieved when everyone has physical, social, and economic access at all times to sufficient, safe, and nutritious foods to meet their dietary needs and dietary preferences for an active and healthy life. An estimated 2 billion people in the world are experiencing food insecurity. One in every 9 persons in the world is malnourished. The other pervasive issues are international conflicts, natural disasters, migrations, inequality, gender disparity, high prices of foods, poverty, lack of adequate food, distribution systems, high post-harvest losses, and food waste. Demographic and social issues, prevention and treatment of diseases are other areas of great concern. By 2050, on our planet, we will have to feed nearly 10 billion people. India's food processing sector output will be around $535 billion by 2025, growing at the CAGR of 15.2%. The emergence of transformative tools like artificial intelligence, somebody mentioned in the starting, machine learning, robotics, automation, reduction of waste, improvement in food safety, optimization of supply chains, prediction of consumer trends, minimization of environmental impacts, sustainability issues, use of renewable energy, biodegradable packaging, allergen-free foods, and a few other areas will improve nutritional security. What is nutritional security? All of you deal with food. I thought I will just summarize in few words. Food security ensures sufficient and safe nutritious food, physically, economically, and socially. Healthy diets protect against nutrition, malnutrition, non-communicable diseases, and also mental health. Total world population on 15th November 2022 was 8 billion, out of which 22% were vegetarian and 80% of this population were consumers of milk and milk products. 1 billion population on earth is undernourished. It is a very serious issue, getting hardly one meal a day. 2 billion have hidden hunger as calorie needs are met, but diet lacks in essential food nutrients and micronutrients, and therefore Deepti Gulati will be talking on food fortification to cover some of these ingredient deficiencies. On the contrary, 2 billion people are obese and overweight. Of course, this problem is not so much in India as in foreign countries. Over a third of children under 5 years are stunted. Malnutrition leads to wasting, stunting, anemia, and lower potential to perform in future life. The reasons could be many, and there are now lifestyle disorders also appearing before the entire nation. Diabetes, about 2 years between 2019 and 20, this was the time when we had a pandemic. 31 million Indians turned diabetic. This was direct or indirect effect of COVID-19. Currently, 77 million Indians are living with diabetes. This number is expected to jump to 134 million by 2045. The disease is prevalent in all ages. There are many causes for the diabetes. Somebody, when offering me a cup of tea, asked whether I should need a normal tea with sugar or without sugar. Now, I eat a lot of sweets and I have no problem. And all those who interact with me, I will ensure that even if they have some problem of diabetes, there are now number of preventive measures where you can control your diabetes. You have to leave unhealthy eating habits. That's one of the main issues. You have to leave behind the stress that you all undergo every day, every time while you are working. Poor sleeping patterns and sleep apnea. At least you have time free from all worries. Sleep for at least 8 hours a day. Do it in the evening, do it in the morning, don't during the daytime. But a minimum of 8 hours sleep is necessary. Increase the recreation level. And addiction to alcohol and new devices fast take from a physical world to a digital world. So these are also, causative reasons for the diabetes. So for preventing diabetes, we have to follow a balanced diet, moderate exercise, calming activities like yoga and meditation, and sleep for at least 8 hours. We have another very significant problem of heart diseases. And 1/4 of the deaths across the world are due to cardiovascular diseases. According to Indian Heart Association, half of all heart attacks in men occur under the age of 50 years. A quarter of deaths occur under 40 years of age. This is very, very, dangerous. That is the time when people have productive life. Heart disease in Indian bodies arrives a decade earlier than heart diseases across the world. 20% of adults in India have high blood pressure, leading to cardiovascular and cerebrovascular diseases. Sodium-rich processed foods affect the health of school kids and the elderly people alike. Symptoms include loss of temper, irritability, breathlessness, chest pain, mental illness, chronic fatigue syndromes. And unhealthy snacks should be taxed heavily by the government to avoid the use of too much salty, snack foods. The third issue before the world is the cancer. Modifications in the DNA in the blood. shifting lifestyles will cause certain cancers. Besides, there will be burden on healthcare systems and on the economy of families when some families suffer from cancer. Smoking leads to lung cancer. Asbestos particles affect the lining in the lungs. Air pollution impacts cells of the lungs. So we have this serious problem again causing these cancers. Then we had coal, wood in cooking, the benzene emission, carbon monoxide, formaldehyde, polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, they all lead to cancer. So beside these, we have got pesticides, antibiotics, toxicants in foods, feeds sprayed with herbicides to control weeds, all types of smokes and smoking, they lead to the cancers. And how do we prevent the cancers? I'm not a medical doctor, but I think from the description that we read, we should eat diets low in salt, sugar and fats. Food Safety Standard Authority of India are trying to develop modalities and also fixing norms as how much salt, sugar and fat one should take. However, in India, we have a lot of achar, murabba, lot of milk sweets. They carry high content of salt and sugar. So a balance has to be struck between the guidance notes that we are proposing to the Food Safety Standard Authority of India. Introduction of nutrition science as a subject right at the matriculate level, high school level. Compulsory mass physical training. When we were students in high school, the first part of our school was that we were given physical training for 1 hour. That is lacking these days. So we should introduce this mass physical training at all levels in the schools. And the use of antioxidant-rich products like carrots, tomatoes, ghee, green vegetables, fruits and nuts, they are all so important for solving this problem. There have been reports of infertility disorders even in the couples of 30 years of age. Women stop ovulation, high prevalence of micronutrient deficiency among women in Punjab. Recently a study has showed the deficiency of iron, zinc, vitamin B12 and folic acid by respectively 46%, 95%, 83% and 36% respectively. And these deficiencies are linked with poor quality of soil. Soils have been depleted, there are no organic matters. So now the governments are introducing subjects which will improve the soil health. There are emerging demands from the customers. They are healthy choices. Now the demands are important to know because the food industry will only develop new products based on the customer demands. So there is a demand for natural foods, organic foods, fresh foods, low demand for chemiculture foods, low demand for high sugar, low salt and low fat foods, adulteration of organic foods with inorganic. It has to be determined. We have to develop methods for testing as how organic foods can be prevented from adulteration. Deep fat fried foods are not safe. We are all, in India, eat so much of samosas, pakoras, jalebi, French fries, and so many, products that you have in the. When you go out, you will find plenty of these snacks, hanging in the air in plastic pouches. I will tell you that deep fat frying of carbohydrates, they increase the acrylamide levels, which leads directly to the formation of cancer tissues. Reuse of or reheated oils, they lead to the increase in the trans fats, more worrisome than even saturated fats. Fortunately, ghee has very, very little trans fat, less than 0.01 milligram per 100 gram. So ghee is good. And now we are promoting consumption of ghee, not only in India, it has become now a world product, and we are making efforts to, increase the consumption of ghee. And the cholesterol issue, which was associated with the consumption of butter and ghee, has been settled. We have been betrayed by some companies for selling statins to reduce the cholesterol. Now this issue has been settled. United States advisory says that for the last 60 years we have made a mistake. There is no issue of cholesterol at all. If you don't eat cholesterol through butter or ghee, body will make its own cholesterol, which will be more suicidal. Reduction in the high density lipoprotein and increase in low density lipoprotein and triglycerides. These changes are associated with excess risk of cardiovascular diseases and diabetes. Total polar material is an international indicator of oils getting degraded due to deep fat frying. And if you go to a shop of halwai, you will find them using dark colored oils for frying purposes. That is a very alarming situation. As I mentioned, acrylamides do form, especially when you are deep fat frying the carbohydrate products. Friends, India is now witnessing a good millet revolution, which is nutrient packed. And since a lot of almost every day in newspapers, advantages of millets as superfoods or Shri foods, you can read. And I think there is a need for us to increase in our diets the use of these millets. And the companies have started developing products which are tastier, healthier, and provide more diverse foods for the future. We have also a good beginning of herbal extracts and supplements finding place in food preparations. Studies on safety will be necessary while putting herbal extracts in food preparations. However, we have tested the herbals like saffron, cardamom, ashwagandha, turmeric, psyllium husk, arjun bark. The most commonly used ginger is known to treat colds, nausea, migraines, and high blood pressure, and is reported to be anti-carcinogenic in nature. And more we use, these natural herbs and spices, better will be our health in future. One session on nutraceuticals has been proposed to be discussed by several learned speakers, and I will only say that nutraceuticals, which are often referred as phytochemicals, are considered natural and they carry bioactive compounds known as healthy and considered as functional foods like dietary fiber, phytosterols, phytoestrogens, mono and polyunsaturated fatty acids, phenol derivatives, vitamins, minerals, herbs, probiotics. Nutraceuticals can come from plants, animals, or microbial sources. Conjugated linoleic acid, for example, can be obtained either from dairy or as well as from meats. And conjugated linoleic acid is very good to prevent the occurrence of cancers in the body. Nourish the Future program outlines the cost-effective intervention to treat malnutrition through robust health and food systems to save and improve millions of lives across the globe. There is one new term emerging: medical foods. These medical foods are especially formulated and intended for the dietary management of diseases having distinctive nutritional needs that cannot be met by normal diet alone. There are good health claims, and these are the areas, medical foods, which should occupy the place in the minds of our industry friends. We will have some discussion on functional foods, and functional foods, are important because they provide health benefits beyond basic nutrition. They contain bioactive peptides, compounds, fortified with nutrients to provide health benefits intended to be consumed as part of a daily diet. Nutrients such as nutrient-rich products like fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, juices, and grains are often considered functional foods. Such food, including fortified foods, protect against nutrient deficiencies. For example, iron fortified wheat flour reduces anemia, vitamin D prevents rickets, iodine supplements cures the goiter and birth defects. There are many foods which are rich in antioxidants, and they should find place in the food preparations and food supplements. Now we have one section on food safety concerns.
Yes, we also have that.
For 3 years, I was the chairman of the scientific panel with the Ministry, with the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India on milk and milk products. And prior to and after that, we have been teaching food safety issues to our postgraduate students and discussing in forum like this the issues. But some of the things that I want to point out, leaving behind all that which is listed in the books, the chemical contaminants like pesticides, aflatoxins, nitrates, nitrites, lead, mercury, they are quite well known as contaminants. Now new contaminants have emerged: phthalates, bisphenol A, heterocyclamines, ethyl carbamates, nitrosamines. They have become the items of concern. Then there are many new food-borne microorganisms which are matter of great concern. Pathogens like Salmonella, Listeria monocytogenes, They are suspected to instigate cancers in the stomach and even the central nervous system. Hepatitis B and C viruses, they cause liver cancer. Helicobacter pylori causes ulcers and subsequently stomach cancers. Methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus is causing tissue damage, inflammation, and subsequently later, complications. Post-COVID, the immunity of humans has been compromised. Thus, we must be more specific about tolerable daily limits. We should fix regulatory limits and also develop testing protocols. I will leave behind with you these future challenges, which we should all discuss during the day. The challenges that we will have to face, we have to address are pandemic like COVID-19 can appear in different forms in future. We should be prepared for those. Natural calamities and climate change. Currently it is a global warming. Tomorrow it could become global boiling. You have seen the disasters. Even these days, the oceans, the mountains, everywhere there are a lot of abnormal situations which are very disastrous, caused by global warming. Then emergence of new pathogens in foods, virulent viruses, and even bacteria are mutating. The industry has to prepare to handle and address these issues. Persistent inflation and rising commodity prices, they naturally deter the food selection. You produce, but you don't have purchasing power. So ultimately it will lead to health complications. So it does involve that problem of inflation, and inflation is rising across the globe. Supply chain disruptions due to conflicts and geopolitical dynamics. War between Ukraine and Russia has disrupted supply of wheat and also the biofuels. So these inflations, beside inflation, these disruptions are caused by geopolitical issues. Crafting innovative business models and institutional synergies, you have to think about it. And in business, you always have to think of building an image called a brand image. So brand building is important in a competitive world. And we were discussing this morning how Amul is penetrating across the country. Amul products are selling everywhere, in Singapore, in Malaysia, in Australia, in United States. This is called brand building, brand image. So many of you, can think of having international brand image for your own products. You have the facility of AI, robotics, and digitalization. They're all going to influence not only the food choices, but for those who are involved in the development, R&D work in food industry. We should develop new products, consumer focused and export oriented. And in addition to that, please make sure that you also have acquired intellectual property right. We have to face otherwise, a kind of a challenge. Everyone, while talking of neem, people have started, because neem is good for, curing some diseases. Turmeric. So everything that, even honey, so these, what they are called, people don't want India to, market these products. So we have got a lot of competition, and we have to fight this issue in Indonesian markets. And above all, we have to empower our farmers and for rural transformation. Friends, these are not all the issues that are important, but I think it's time for us to be awakened to take care of problems. It is for the industry, research workers and scientists to address these challenges before us. Thank you.